Oh, this is time for us to now go to the Wimmera report, and he did get to the footy last week. He got it in an official capacity. Is Warrack Herald scribe. He joins us now. Scotty Stewart, how are you?
G'day, Wayne. Yeah, good, thanks.
You know, you told me last week you probably weren't going, but that they gave you the late call-up, and so as a timekeeper you were able to get to the footy, one of the 150 allowed through the gate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and the official title, you were pretty right, but no, it was pretty well run the whole day over there at Mill last weekend. They followed all COVID rules and everything they needed to follow. They followed, and yeah, as you said, I got there through doing the timekeeping, which is fine. Everyone's got to have their timekeepers and their volunteers, and I worked with a good fellow over there, and yeah, in a tight game, she was pretty interesting day in the timekeeper's box, I tell you.
It came down to the wire, 10-12-72 to 10-8-68, and I reckon the Warrack Eagles were probably shouting out, blow the horn now."
Yeah, you're right. I said to my man I was working with, who's pretty experienced sort of fella, I said, "Oh, gee, how you going when you get down to these final seconds?" And she's pretty close in games. And he said, yeah, he's had a fair few of those in his time, but no, he was a good man, and it worked out all right in the end.
Yeah, he blew it, and you were in front, 10-12-72 to 10-8-68. Driscoll with 5 for them. Yench booted 5 for you, and gee, that was a good effort. Mackenzie back into the side. He's had some injury this year. McRoberts, great player, really play well for the Eagles. Tell us about Cheney down back. I reckon he's the bloke with the pies, isn't he? He's the local baker.
Yeah, you're right. That's Jake. Yeah, he played a really good game down back last weekend. We had a fair few different fellas in our side last week. We just to cover that injury worries. The injury list we've got at the minute, I should say, and as you said, yeah, Nash McRoberts, he joined a couple of his mates from the Arrowhead Eagles, and he played a good game. And yeah, Jake down back, he was under fire a bit, because it was one of those games where you put together a bit of a side. I mean, we had about 6-7 new fellas, and you could tell Mill was the team, and they were playing some pretty good team footy, but our boys took a fair while to get going. So Jake was under a fair bit of pressure down back, but he stood firm, and he played a really good game. And yeah, as we say, 4 points at the end of the day. It was a really close battle.
It certainly was. Minyat Matoa thumped Timbula 21-9 to 12-8. I mean, this is a massive win, isn't it, by Minyat Matoa? In the context of this season, Dimmy were really fronting up and did till half-time. That third quarter, 8 goals to 1. They are, well, I guess they call it a premiership quarter for a reason, and they're the reigning premiers from 2019. So Minyat Matoa, they're fronting up.
Yeah, no, exactly. You hit the nail right in the head there with that third quarter blitz, and 8 goals to 1. She's game over by a 3-quarter time, isn't it? But I saw a good battle up until half time, only 7 points separating the two sides. But yeah, Dimmy will come away from that learning a fair few lessons, I'd imagine, and yeah, Minyat Matoa just showed their class and probably their overall strength, I think, in the end. I mean, I think the travel restrictions might have hurt Dimmy a little bit more than maybe what they hurt Minyat Matoa, but not to that degree. I would say that, the Boroughs, they were on song, and they ready to take down one of the top 5 contenders for sure.
They certainly are. Stall beat to Horsham by 4 goals in a really good performance down there. It certainly was a game that Horsham pressing for that top 5 position, and that Stall were able to counter that and beat them.
It was a really important one, that one, wasn't it, for Horsham probably to get those points, but just dropping a game outside the top 5 now, so that's going to make things a little bit difficult for them, but Stall on the home deck, they were pretty good, and the leading goal kicker up there, Cody Driscoll's, bagged another 6, so he was fairly a focal point up in the forward line there. But Stall, they went back to the top of the ladder with that win, so they'll be pretty happy with all that.
Tell you what, the Southern Valley Giants, they missed Cook and also Denham, their 2 big players up front. They weren't available, and as a result, the Saints got home 10-6, 66 to a 9-8, 62. And as we heard from Coleman Shack earlier on, he reckoned that they didn't come to play, and the Giants are going to have to watch that on these sort of away games. No crowd. It might have affected with the highly supported, well-travelled Giants. They do have a good supporter base even when they're playing away. So it might be just something that got into their heads.
Yeah, it would have been interesting with all that, but the start, wasn't it? As you sort of mentioned there, it's the Saints they jumped them in the first quarter, and that ultimately, that's the difference, isn't it? They 3-6 to 1-1 at quarter time, and 4-point battle, a 4-point difference at the end of the day. But yeah, as you said, the Giants ought to miss those travellers, a couple of key forwards up there. So what they take away from that, who knows? But the Saints, all credit to them. They needed that win just for that a bit of break in the top 5, and I think that's going to be a fairly important 4 points come the end of the year, that one.
Okay, Warrack Eagles get the bye this weekend. So, Scotty, that's with crowds back. I reckon there'll be a lot of Eagles folk oodling just to get out of the house and maybe go and see some Horsham District or one of the other Wimmera games.
Yeah, with the bye, and it's halfway point of the season after this one, so we'll start again the following week. But not sure. They because missing the last couple of weeks through COVID and that there. Yeah, people might be keen to get away and have a bit of a spell, because it's going to be a bit of a barrage when we return there with a couple of those top sides in Wimmera and the Southern LA Giants. But they'll enjoy the rest this week, and hopefully, give those boys another week to get over maybe the injuries that they are holding at the moment. So it'll be an interesting weekend, this one.
Certainly will be. Your tips across the senior grade of football: Minnit-Matoa and nil.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a battle for the Nil boys. Well, I was pretty impressed with them last week. They might be a little bit undermanned, and they're a young side, but I think they're pretty well led, and if they can just continue to battle along, they'll take it up to Minnit-Matoa, but you'd think the Burrows will get home pretty easy in this one.
I reckon so. Dimboola get their travellers back from Melbourne, and I reckon that will give them enough spice to go over there to Horsham City Oval. Shorter trip for the Melbourne travellers too, so they will be very, very on, I reckon, Dimmy, here.
I think you're right. Yep, they'll be pretty keen to get that one back from last weekend. And as you said, I think there was about 3 of those travellers that missed through the restrictions last weekend. But they'll be all back, and they'll be fit and firing and ready to go. But yeah, I'm thinking the Roos might just be a bit too strong for the Demons here.
I tell you what too, and it's D-Day for Horsham. If they drop it, and they probably could, then it starts to ask the question whether they're going to be a finalist again. Could be the second year running that they haven't played Wimmera football finals in 2019 with this year. It hasn't happened yet, so we've got plenty of time under the belt for them to recover, but they need to probably beat Dimboola and show what they've really got as a top fiver. Horsham Saints can show what they've got as a top fiver, refreshed after a win at home last week. They get another home game, bit more moisture, might make Coghlan Park a bit harder to play on. Storr won't mind the moisture, they're used to that down there. This will be a real cracking game.
Yeah, this was right up there, the game of the round. I'm thinking the Saints after last week, getting that win over the Giants was a must for them, and this will be a fair battle, I reckon, with the Storr lads. But being on Coghlan Park, it's going to be helpful for the Saints, who were taking a lot of confidence out of last weekend. But I've a tip for this one. It's a tough one, and maybe it's just the home side with that advantage. But I wouldn't be tipping that with a great deal of confidence, because Storr, they're just continuing to do what they do throughout the year, and they've got that top spot. And yeah, they a win here, and it goes a long way to tying up that top 3 berth for them. But might just say the Saints in a real tight one.
Giants play Ararat at Beulah, and they really want to respond. I think Coleman Shack with Dinham back up forward, he will have them pumped, and Marnie in the middle, and they're going to, I reckon, come out and on their home deck give Ararat something to really worry about. Yep,
I think you're right there. They come back from the bye, Ararat, so they'll be fresh, and they'll be all fit and firing and ready to go. One of their longer trips that they have to make throughout the year up to Beulah there, but that won't worry them. They'll be keen to get back in and have another crack at the footy after missing, what would you say, 3 weeks now, wouldn't it? Because they had the bye before the COVID break. So they'll be champing at the bit to get back in. But I'm thinking what you've just mentioned there, the Giants, they'll welcome back there a couple of their travellers, and those two lads, if they're going to sit up in the forward line there, they're going to worry the R8 defence no end. So, it could be a good one, but the Giants, they'll be wanting to bounce back after last week, and they'll get their crowd back into it and on their home deck, and should be played in front of a pretty good crowd this one. But yeah, Giants for me.
Yeah, big weekend, and the Eagles folk get to rest up. The Scotty Stewart could be back in the timekeeper's box again rather than the commentator's box here on the program. Good to have you on board, Scotty.
No worries, go on, you, Wayne.